In episode 7, as Marie and Kate make their way towards campus, in the middle of the night, Annabeth wakes up to a very realistic nightmare, and it's something that she's been dealing with for a while because it's part of her powers. It's a premonition, and the premonition is that Marie is dead in a pool of her own blood, so it is truly a nightmare. And when she wakes up, she realizes Marie is gone. But as the kids wake up, because there's a commotion going on in the hall, they all realize it's not just Marie, it's Kate as well. And this was planned. And for Jordan, they can't believe that Marie once again abandoned them. But Jordan has a pretty good idea of where they're headed. So they're going to borrow Stan Edgar's car and they're going to head to campus. Jordan is going to be accompanied by Annabeth while Sam takes Emma and is going to jump to campus to make it there quicker so they could hopefully find Marie. On the way to campus, Jordan and Annabeth get acquainted. Annabeth tells Jordan all about her powers and when she started getting them. And then they get into the fact of the relationship between Jordan and Annabeth's sister. Jordan says, yeah, I thought we were something, but you can clearly tell that Jordan is really upset by what Marie did in the middle of the night, just leaving, again, with no notice. At this point, though, Marie and Kate have arrived back on campus. They're just outside of Cypher's home, and Marie makes it clear to Kate, the only reason I brought you here was because you were going to tell the others what I was doing. That is it. I don't want you here. And as for restoring Kate's powers, Marie isn't about to do that because she doesn't trust Kate. She can't trust Kate. Not after all that Kate has done to Marie and her friends. Kate's the whole reason why they were in Elmira in the first place. So to restore Kate's powers, even though Kate is promising her, won't use them on you or your friends or anybody. I just want to find Cypher and take him down. She's not buying any of it. Either way, the two make their way towards Cypher's home, but when they get there, it's a little weird because there is no security out there, which is something that Kate did warn Marie about. So they just walk in. And because Kate's powers are jacked up at this point, she can tell that there is somebody with a weak heartbeat in the home, and they just assume that it's gotta be Thomas Godolkin. But when they get into the room, the hyperbaric chamber is empty, and that weak heartbeat is coming from Polarity, who shows his face, and he is going through it. He is in a rough state, but he went after Cypher to try to find him because now he knows that his powers might be a little more powerful than Cypher's. Unfortunately for him, though, he is in no state to go after anybody. So Marie helps him to the couch and puts a towel on his head because she can tell that he is in a bad state. And he turns to her and says, "Why did you come back here? It's what he wanted." And that's when they explain to Polarity that they believe the man that Cypher was keeping in that hyperbaric chamber is Thomas Godolkin, which gets him to sit up. They fill him in on everything that Stan Edgar told them and their plan, and he says, "You really think that Godolkin is going to help you, even if all of this were true?" And they say, "Yeah, I mean, he's been kept prisoner by this guy." Polarity, though, warns them, Godolkin might be more dangerous than Cypher. But Marie says, "I don't think we have a choice." Polarity, though, believes that he can knock Cypher out again, but as Kate points out, look, you did it once and it's impressive, but look at you. You're in rough shape. You're in no shape to do it again. And that's when all of a sudden Polarity starts having a seizure, which is affecting the lights and everything, but Marie jumps into action. Now that her powers are heightened, she is able to cure Polarity. Now, it takes a lot out of her. Her nose is bleeding, and it did hurt Kate. Much like when she cured Annabeth, it hurt everybody in the room. But Polarity is stunned. When he comes to, his tremors are gone. He actually says aloud, I didn't remember what it was like to actually feel healthy again. And now with a healthy Polarity, all they have to do is find Cypher. So the first place they head is to his office, but he is not there. Polarity points out, look, I mean, if he was dragging around a charred up body that's semi-alive, somebody must have saw something, and we have somebody here who can get people to talk. So, Marie, why don't you help Kate out and fix her? But Marie is stunned that Polarity is suggesting that. At first, she thinks that Kate put him up to it, which Kate says, I didn't say anything. And Polarity points out, Marie, it's the obvious move. But Marie gets even more upset when she hears that, because to her, it's not the obvious move. She reminds everybody in the room, Polarity and Kate, that it was Kate who has betrayed them time and time again. It was Kate who was the reason that they were in Elmira. And while they went out and saved Kate from Elmira, she doesn't trust her at all. By the look of Kate's face as she's getting browbeat, you can tell that Kate does feel bad about her actions. It gets so bad that Marie blames Kate for Andre's death. Polarity jumps in and says, whoa, if you want to blame anybody for that, blame me. I didn't protect him enough. But when the conversation settles down, Marie still isn't willing to cure Kate. They need to think of something else. And as they're sitting there, they get a phone call from Cypher. I guess Kate completely forgot that the first time she went to go look at that hyperbaric chamber, Cypher texted her and said, hey, I have cameras. So when Kate and Marie stepped foot in that room, Cypher was cued into the fact that Marie had returned. And it was music to his ears. He also, though, had cameras in his office, so he knew where they were, and he called her up. And he said, hey, did Polarity tell you about my offer that your friends can survive if you just work with me? But Marie says no. He told me about the fact that you want to, quote, cull the herd. Cypher kind of laughs and says, oh, I get it. No, you're after me because you're mad about what I did to your baby sister. And Marie says, yeah, you slit her throat. But as Cypher points out, I did it because I knew that you could bring her back under that pressure, and you did. You need to continue to work with me. It's the only way that you and your friends will survive. You need to think about my offer. And then he hangs up. But during the conversation, Marie knows where Cypher is. She knows that he's at the training center because she could hear the doors closing. So now it's just a matter of heading over there. At this point, though, the other group has made it back to campus. As expected, Sam and Emma showed up first. Sam wanted to keep a low profile, but he was spotted by Rufus and another guy from the frat, and they gave him some pledge that he could haze for the time being, even though Sam didn't want that. And while Sam was receiving this pledge that he didn't want, Emma was saying hello to Greg, which caught the eye of Sam because all of a sudden he realizes he's got competition and he is jealous. But as Emma fills Greg in on what they're going through, Greg says, look, I'll go up in the sky and I'll look around the perimeter for Marie and I'll report back to you. He, though, is a little hesitant that Emma is so willing to work with Sam because he doesn't trust him. But Emma sticks up for Sam, saying, no one's ever had this kid's back. Now, I trust him. Now, go up and report back. She then runs over to Sam and tells him what Greg is doing, while her and Sam are going to split up around campus, meet back up, and hopefully at that point, somebody has located Marie. After a little bit of time, they do. Emma and Sam meet back up. They came up empty, and Sam admitted that he was a little jealous of Greg when Greg showed up because he saw Marie going to the training center. As for Jordan and Annabeth, they also headed over there, but Annabeth's visions are getting worse. Luckily, though, they're all able to intercept Kate, Marie, and Polarity before they step foot in there, and they warn Marie, you can't go in. And they fill her in on Annabeth's visions, but Marie is adamant, I'm going in, I have to stop this guy. And when they point out, again, that Annabeth is having these visions, Marie says, she didn't have any visions about getting kidnapped or her throat slit. No, nothing about that, right? I'm sorry, but I have to do this. And that's when Jordan grabs her arm and says, I'm sorry, Marie, but Annabeth told you how this ends, and it's not good. I can't let you go in there. But Marie is more powerful than all of them. So she looks at Jordan and says, I'm sorry. And then using her powers, she starts lifting Jordan's body in the air. But not just Jordan. She lifts Jordan, Sam, and Emma. The only ones still on the ground are Annabeth, Kate, and Polarity. And as she's got the three dangling in the air, she looks at Kate and says, if I restore your powers, will you use them on them to get them to leave? And Kate says, no, I told you, I'm not using my powers on you guys ever again. It's at that moment where Polarity yells at Marie, Marie, stop it. Let them go. And she does. They all drop to the ground. They're all shocked. Annabeth is kind of mortified. But Marie and Polarity head in the training center, and Marie tells them, you keep Cypher busy. I'm going to go locate Thomas Godolkin. And that's exactly what Polarity does. He easily locates Cypher. They start kind of peacocking back and forth, tough talking, and that's when the rest of the kids show up. And Polarity thinks this will be easy. There's a ton of us, and I've already kind of defeated Cypher once. I'll easily be able to keep this guy busy. Hell, I might even be able to defeat him. But that isn't going to be easy because while Polarity's powers did work on Cypher, Cypher is still able to get in the heads of all the other kids, and he does that. Starting off with Sam beating up Polarity, moving into a couple of the other kids. Polarity has no idea who is being controlled by Cypher when, And at that moment, he's kind of just trying to survive. They all are. The good news is, though, Marie has located the body of Thomas Godolkin. She asks him, "Are you Thomas Godolkin?" He confirms. And then she says, "Okay, look, I'm going to cure you because we need your help in stopping Cypher." And she starts using her powers. It doesn't take long before all of a sudden his charred body starts coming back to life. But all of that took so much out of Marie that she collapses. Now, over in the training center, Polarity was finally able to use his powers to knock Cypher out. And it's around that time where, in the basement, Thomas Godolkin was kind of brought back to life a little bit. So this frees up Kate, Emma, and Annabeth to go check in the basement on how Marie is doing when they find her body just lying there. And Annabeth tells them, "This isn't exactly my vision. I mean, not quite." But as they're trying to get Marie up and get her back awake, you've got Thomas Godolkin just admiring the fact that all of this worked. He says aloud, "She knew that you had to come back here to save everyone and be the big hero. It's annoying how smart she is." And he's talking about Sister Sage. Kate is able to quickly discern the fact that Thomas Godolkin not only will not be helping them, but Thomas Godolkin is Cypher. So she looks at both Emma and Annabeth and says, "We got to get the hell out of here. That is Cypher." And Cypher lets them go. On the outside, the poor guy that was Cypher, well, his real name was Doug. And he was really just a puppet that Thomas Godolkin was using. So when he finally came to, he's got Polarity ready to chop his head off, and he explains, no, I'm not that guy. He just let me go. My name's Doug. I worked at Blockbuster. It's either an incredible acting job or it's the truth, and Polarity lets him live. But at this point, Thomas Godolkin has made his way out of the building. He's already initiated his plan on culling the herd by killing one student whose superpowers are, he can turn his feet into hands. And now it's just a matter of time before he does, in fact, eliminate 75% of the student body.
Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry. It'll be up in a day or two.